Suppose I submit a punch card in the computer center, after 3 days I will get the result and I will know that there is a syntax error. So again 3 days. Now you have on your desktop or laptop every time with you. So you can have many things, many ways to play with those programming or whatever. Even in typing, you used to do by typewriter. Now you have many typing software and all. Okay, so in a way that you have sophisticated equipments, you have sophisticated computational peripherals. So you need to do high-end research, and always actually whatever you are doing, not the publications and patents in the introduction I already told, that it is not that whatever criteria we have for the submission of thesis, that should not be actually our main motto. We should work for the at least some social problems or some other burning problems that we have. Okay, so with this, I hope all of you have enjoyed this Research Scholar Week, and again, congratulations to the winner. With this, thank you very much. All the best.
Thank you, Professor, for your encouraging words and for highlighting the academic essence that underpins RSW. Your guidance continues to inspire our research community. With honor, I now request our esteemed director, Professor K. Uma Maheshwar Rao, to share his thoughts and inspire us with a vision for excellence in research and institutional growth.
Distinguished dignitaries on dais, Professor V.M.S. Murthy, Director ISC Shipur, and Professor Sneshi Chakravarti, Dean Academics, Professor Rohan Diwan, Registrar, and Professor Pradeep Chaudhary, the organizing professor of this Research Scholars Week, with the theme of celebrating research and innovation. Everything which has started, it has to end. And we had a momentous beginning a couple of days ago, and then today we are gathered here, of course in a small number. I think the award winners are gathered here, other research scholars are not here. Nevertheless, it's a good number as it is. To conclude the session of 18th, 19th and then today. As you all know, the very objective of this Research Scholars Day, which you have understood now, today, that it has been to showcase, letting your work being reviewed by some reviewers, maybe the other department faculty colleagues. Nevertheless, it's a review other than yourself. Why it is important is that when we conceive an idea, and when we really present that particular idea, and we think that what we have really thought and then we have presented is complete in its sense, and then it is making some sense, meaning. But then the same thing when you are really presenting it in the form of a paper or this presentations to the examiners, what really happens is that what you think is what you are communicating should be understood by the examiner. If there is a gap in that one, if they have not really understood what you really meant, okay? You are saying white, and then if it is understood as a black, and then there is a gap, right? This is exactly the idea, intention of Research Scholars Week is to fill in these particular gaps of what you are thinking is what is being communicated, and it is exactly the same thing that is being understood by the reader as well as the examiner or reviewer, okay? This is the objective, and then whatever you have showcased in these third day, today is the third day, you must have received some comments, and definitely good comments will motivate you, and any comment which is not as you are expecting, you may immediately have a knee-jerk reaction that, and I don't really have to accept the comments made by Professor X, Y, and Z. But then my only request to you is that we receive comments when we make a publication as well. Whenever we are sending the for any journal, the reviewers, reviewer 2 and reviewer 3, or whatever the number of reviewers, they have a set of questions. And I understand, because I was also sending my papers for publications, and then reviewers used to send the remarks. And then at the very outset, when we read that one, थोड़ा गुस्सा आता है, natural, it's स्वाभाविक, गुस्सा आना स्वाभाविक. इतने मेहनत लेकर के हमने लिखे हैं, जो भी है, right? Whatever the words that you really have for the examiner or reviewer, I will not repeat that, but then you don't really take them as in the face. The comments are not readily accepted. But then, थोड़ी समय के बाद, then 2-3 days के बाद, and then when you sit with the remarks with your supervisor भी एक आध डांट लगाएगा, ये क्या लिखा है, ये सब कुछ, and then you further really become little low. But then what really happens at the end is that the rough edges in your ideas, are really sharpened and rather rounded off, and then definitely 99.9% of the cases when you meet all the observations of the reviewer, and then when you read your own paper, the paper which you have communicated to the paper that is being corrected and then made ready, you find a lot of change in that one. You really find that there is a lot has really improved in how you have really transformed your paper into a beautiful publication. Okay. And this is exactly what we want to give you an opportunity, that other than you and other than your supervisor, if they review your papers, what exactly will be their comment, and then comments will definitely improve the quality of your research. This has been the objective of that one. And then I will not repeat what I have said in the inaugural session. You all have come here to this institution एक मकसद लेके आए हो, that I want to take a degree and then get away from NIT Rourkela at the earliest possible time, and then for that to happen, the minimum number of publications you have got to make. Right, I'm not going to talk about the reason for not really publishing or publishing and all that. Publishing is a part of your research. You have got to showcase what you have really done in your research work to the external world, and then really receive the comments, make the corrections, and then publish it again. Publishing is a part of your research that will help you only. The more number of publications, the better the quality of your research will be. Okay. What I am now trying to tell you today is that the session is now closing. Maybe there are some senior faculty, senior research scholars. By the end of this year or early next year, you will be submitting your thesis. Okay, I wish you all the very best, and then I wish you all the very success. But then now you will just have, you are now at the crossroads. The day when you have joined NIT Rourkela, you had enough time, 3 years or 4 years or maybe little more than 4 years time, that you have got to really come to an end of your journey at NIT Rourkela. Those who are in the last submission, synopsis stage mein hai, then it's the time for you got to really look back, and then what have you really done, and then how much have you really prepared yourself to face the next position. Your career is important, isn't it? Research is not the end of what you really wanted to have in your life. Research is only a milestone which you have got to really acquire, so that will help you to achieve something in your profession. There should be a professional growth. All right. So now, what I just want to really harp upon you is that often what happens is that majority of the research scholars, when they get their PhD with some publications, and then you immediately have to try for postdoctoral fellowships. You do the postdoctoral fellowships, fine, and then when you apply back to any educational institution, any other NIT, other than NIT Rourkela for some time, okay, you are expected to become a teacher. Right? When you are expecting to become a teacher, I am just trying to share my experience of interviewing the candidates for the faculty positions at NIT Rourkela. They must have been the research scholars, or they must have really got everything wherever, in which of the IIT and then NITs are. Often what is misunderstood by the research scholars is that whatever they have done in their research is the ultimate and end of it. Right? No, it is not. That is the beginning of it. What you have got to understand is that that is the beginning of that one, and unfortunately that is not exactly the beginning. You have started, it's a relay race. Fundamentals छोड़ करके आपने थोड़ा आगे चले गए हो, and then you have taken the baton halfway after your BTech and then MTech, and then you started running for the next 3, 4, 5 years, and then you got the PhD. And then you just cannot limit yourself to your PhD and that particular topic. Fundamentals तब तक भूल गए हो. So now what has happened is that I am telling, we had announced for all the faculty positions at NIT Rourkela, 3,000 plus. I'm not exactly giving you the number, 3,600 or 3,000 plus applications have come. I'm just asking, leaving this matter to you to evaluate. Of these 3,500 or 600 candidates, we could pick up 35. This is one, एक दर्पण है, which you have got to really, you know yourself. You can just take the ratio of that one. To round it off, 35, 3,500 में से we got only 35 who could join NIT Rourkela. It is not about the quality that you are really missing it. You have not prepared yourself to face the interview. You haven't really faced any interview for a faculty position. It means that when you are asked about thermodynamics, they are not asking you about the research that you are doing in thermodynamics or CFD. No, they are asking you the fundamentals. If you say that, if you think that fundamentals are not required for me to become a teacher, and then you are in a wrong position, a wrong place. There were candidates who have really told me in that interview that I don't need to know the fundamentals. My area of research is this. The question is that examiner or the subject expert will say that, so what? If you have got 6 publications, so what? We are looking for at you as a teacher to be in the making. You just cannot be teaching all the 35 or 45 classes only on your research area. You have got to someday, when you walk into the classroom, facing 80 children or 80 students, you have got to really teach them the subject, fundamentals, which makes sense and which gives the confidence to the children there or the students there that you know something to really share with them. My request to you is that I really place my research scholars or those who are passing out or taking the degree from NIT Rourkela at the helm of the academic position. Right? I really keep them at the highest position, and they should not be faltering in their careers, in the selection of the careers. Even if you join as a scientist anywhere, they will be asking you the fundamentals. Please don't forget or don't think that fundamentals are not required for you to make a career. This is one thing which I just want to, because it is a session, valedictory session, a session where we are concluding. Right? This is what, with few words, I want to really conclude, because I want to prepare you for tomorrow. Tomorrow is that when you walk out of the portals of this institution, right? You have got to go with the head held high and with the confidence. Yes, and you are achieving. फतेह तो हासिल करना ही तो है. बस वही बात है. उसके लिए तो मैं आज हम आपको प्रिपेयर कर रहे हैं. But you please your fundamentals. Whichever the interview you are facing, you just have to really understand that what is that position that I have applied for, in which institution that I have applied for, and why I am really going there, what exactly is the size of the institution, and then why do I really want to join that particular position. These are the fundamental few questions which have to be really answered by yourself. Right? You prepare for that question. This is the first question. Why do you want to join NIT Rourkela? This is the common question which we ask. And then if you do not have an answer, if you do not have an answer which the experts are convinced with your answer, that is the stumbling block. वहां से शुरू होता है आपका इंटरव्यू. थोड़ा प्रिपेयर कीजिए. And next is that when you are before that interview, when you are really writing your thesis, it's unfortunate. Definitely, it is unfortunate that we have got to write in a language which doesn't belong to us, which we have acquired some skills in that one, English. You have got, whether you like it or you don't like it, you have got to communicate in English, and you have got to really communicate verbally, communicate in writing in English. Okay? And then if you try to make complex sentences, एक पूरा full paragraph एक ही sentence हो, most of the cases the judgment from the court, when I start the what exactly is their judgment, I really end up, when I complete the sentence, I don't really understand what exactly has the judge said. Therein, thereof, herein, hereof. Ultimately, the judge wants to really confuse you, that he wants to ensure that you are not going to understand anything he says. Right? Probably he also doesn't understand. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. Right? Opposite to what a judge he gives his statement should be it should be lucid, it should be clear, absolutely in simple sentences, and clarity should be there. Don't try to really borrow words, chat GPT में डाल करके, and then you borrow the sentences and then make the paragraph read something which you did not mean, is something where you are going to land up in a problem.